Over 55? Eating more than this many calories could be secretly aging your body. What if I told you that the dinner you ate tonight could be doing more damage to your body than smoking did to some people 30 years ago? Not because the food was toxic. Not because you ate junk food. But because your body is no longer the same body you had at 35. And yet most people continue eating as if nothing has changed. If you're over 55, what I'm about to share may be one of the most important health conversations you'll hear this year. Because the truth is, millions of adults are silently accelerating aging every single day without realizing it. No pain, no symptoms, no warning signs, just a slow biological process that quietly increases the risk of heart disease, diabetes, fatty liver disease, muscle loss, memory decline, and premature aging. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every week we share evidence-based health information designed specifically for adults over 50 who want to stay healthy, active, and independent for as long as possible. And I have a question for you. How old are you today? Let me know your age and where you're watching from in the comments below. I read as many comments as possible, and I love seeing people from all over the world joining this community. Now let's begin. Imagine finishing a perfectly normal dinner. Maybe some pasta, maybe a sandwich, piece of bread, a small dessert. Nothing extreme, nothing that would make you feel guilty. You push your plate away feeling satisfied and comfortable. But while you're relaxing in front of the television or getting ready for bed, your body may be responding very differently than you think. Your liver may be processing more energy than it can comfortably handle. Your blood sugar may remain elevated longer than it should. Fat may be quietly accumulating around your organs. And inflammatory signals associated with aging may be increasing throughout your body. The frightening part is that you won't feel any of it. That's why so many people are shocked when a routine blood test suddenly reveals high blood sugar, elevated cholesterol, fatty liver disease, or signs of metabolic dysfunction. They feel healthy. They look healthy. Yet internally, problems have been developing for years. The amount of food that was perfectly appropriate for your body at 35 is often excessive at 55. Not because you've become weak. Not because you've lost discipline. Simply because your biology has changed. Scientists have a name for one of the biggest reasons why this happens. It's called inflammaging, a combination of the words inflammation and aging. Unlike the inflammation that occurs when you injure yourself, inflammaging is a low-level fire that never completely turns off. It burns quietly in the background year after year. Researchers now believe this process contributes to heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, cancer, and many other conditions commonly associated with aging. One of the most powerful fuels for this fire is chronic overconsumption. Consistently eating more energy than your body actually needs. And that brings us to the first hidden danger. Number 7. The mismatch between your appetite and your metabolism. Most people never notice when this begins. It happens gradually. At 30, your body burns energy efficiently. At 40, it becomes slightly less efficient. At 50 and beyond, the changes become more noticeable. Your metabolism naturally slows. Your energy requirements decline. Yet your appetite often remains remarkably similar. This creates a dangerous mismatch. You continue eating according to the hunger patterns you developed decades earlier while your body requires significantly less fuel. Think about a wood-burning stove. When the fire is strong, you can add more wood without creating problems. But when the fire burns lower, adding the same amount of wood causes a backup. The fuel accumulates faster than it can be used. The same thing happens inside your body. The difference may only be a few hundred calories per day. But over a year, that small excess becomes a massive amount of additional energy your body must somehow manage. Number 6. The overflow effect. Most people assume excess calories simply become body fat under the skin. Unfortunately, that's not always what happens. Your body stores fat much like a warehouse stores inventory. First, everything has its proper place. But eventually the warehouse reaches capacity. When that happens, the overflow begins spreading into areas where it doesn't belong. The liver, the pancreas, the muscles, the heart, deep inside the abdominal cavity. This is known as ectopic fat storage, and it's far more dangerous than ordinary weight gain. Your liver becomes one of the first victims. The liver was designed to process nutrients, regulate metabolism, and filter toxins. It was never designed to become a storage unit for excess fat. Yet when calorie intake repeatedly exceeds demand, fat begins accumulating inside liver cells. Over time, this can develop into fatty liver disease, one of the fastest-growing health conditions among older adults. What's alarming is that fatty liver disease often produces no symptoms in its early stages. Many people discover it completely by accident. By the time they learn about it, the condition may have been developing silently for years. Before we continue, I want you to participate in today's discussion. If you're still watching and committed to protecting your health after 55, type the word health in the comments below. I'd love to see how many people are serious about taking control of their future. Now let's move to the next issue. Number 5. The protein paradox. This may be one of the biggest nutritional mistakes adults over 55 make. Many people consume enough calories. Some consume too many calories. Yet their muscles continue shrinking year after year. How is that possible? Because calories and protein are not the same thing. Imagine trying to maintain a house with unlimited electricity but no building materials. The lights stay on, but the structure slowly deteriorates. That's exactly what happens when your body receives plenty of energy but insufficient protein. After age 50, muscle loss accelerates naturally. Scientists call this process sarcopenia. Every year, muscle mass declines. Strength declines even faster. Over time, this affects balance, mobility, independence, and overall quality of life. What makes this particularly frustrating is that aging muscles become less responsive to protein. In other words, older adults often need more protein than younger adults simply to maintain the same amount of muscle. Yet many people build their meals around bread, pasta, snacks, desserts, and processed foods while protein becomes an afterthought. The result is a body that appears well-fed but is actually undernourishing one of its most important tissues. Muscle isn't just about strength. Muscle supports metabolism. Muscle improves blood sugar control. Muscle helps protect against injury. Muscle helps maintain independence. Losing muscle is not a cosmetic issue. It is a health issue. Number 4. The insulin trap. This is where many metabolic problems begin accelerating rapidly. Think of insulin as a key. Its job is to unlock your cells so glucose can enter and be used as fuel. When everything works properly, blood sugar stays stable and cells receive the energy they need. But when the body is repeatedly exposed to excess calories, elevated blood sugar, and constantly high insulin levels, something starts to change. The cells become less responsive. It's as if the locks on the doors begin wearing out. The same key no longer works as efficiently. To compensate, the pancreas produces more insulin. Blood sugar becomes harder to manage. Fat burning becomes less efficient. Fat storage increases. Energy crashes become more common. Cravings intensify, and the risk of type 2 diabetes begins climbing. What's especially dangerous is how quietly this process develops. Many people feel completely normal while insulin resistance is progressing beneath the surface. Years may pass before a diagnosis appears. Yet the biological damage has already been accumulating. And what happens next is even more concerning. Because once inflammation, insulin resistance, and visceral fat begin working together, they create a cycle that can accelerate aging itself. That's where we're going next. And what you're about to hear may completely change how you think about growing older. Now let's continue, because what we're about to discuss may be the most important part of this entire conversation. If you've made it this far, you've already learned that excess calories after 55 don't just affect body weight. They affect your liver, your muscles, your blood sugar, and your metabolism. But now we're moving into something even more serious. We're going to talk about how these changes can actually accelerate the aging process itself. Number 3. The fire that keeps feeding itself. Earlier, I introduced you to a concept called inflammaging. Chronic low-grade inflammation that develops as we get older. But here's what makes inflammaging so dangerous. It doesn't stay the same. It grows stronger over time. Think about a small fire burning in the corner of a room. If nobody adds fuel, eventually it dies out. But if someone keeps tossing small pieces of wood onto that fire every single day, the flames continue growing. Excess calories act like those pieces of wood. Every time your body processes more energy than it needs, it creates metabolic stress. That stress creates oxidative damage. Oxidative damage affects cells throughout the body. Some of those damaged cells stop functioning normally. Instead of being removed, they remain in place and begin releasing inflammatory chemicals. Those chemicals affect neighboring cells. More cells become damaged. More inflammation develops. More inflammation creates more cellular dysfunction. The cycle becomes self-sustaining. This is one reason researchers now believe chronic inflammation plays a role in nearly every major disease associated with aging. Heart disease, stroke, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, arthritis, certain cancers. The list continues growing every year. The frightening reality is that you don't feel this process happening. You don't wake up one morning and say, "I feel inflamed." It develops silently. And by the time symptoms appear, years of biological wear and tear may already have occurred. Number 2. The aging clock inside every cell. Most people believe aging is determined by the calendar. Every birthday adds another year. But modern science paints a much more complicated picture. Researchers now understand that your biological age can be very different from your chronological age. Chronological age is how long you've been alive. Biological age reflects how old your cells and tissues actually behave. Two people may both be 65 years old. One still has energy, strength, mental sharpness, and excellent metabolic health. The other struggles with fatigue, chronic disease, and declining function. Same chronological age. Completely different biological age. Why? Because every day your body responds to signals. Inflammation is a signal. Blood sugar is a signal. Sleep is a signal. Exercise is a signal. Nutrition is a signal. When your body spends years dealing with excess calories, chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, and growing visceral fat deposits, those signals tell your cells to age faster. Over time, the effects become visible. Lower energy, slower recovery, reduced mobility, increased disease risk, memory problems. We often assume these changes are simply part of getting older. But in many cases, they're signs that the body is aging faster than it needs to. Which brings us to the most dangerous item on today's list. The hidden problem that connects everything we've discussed. Number 1. The rogue chemical factory operating inside your abdomen. Visceral fat. If there is one thing I hope you remember after watching this video, it's this. Not all fat is the same. The fat under your skin may affect how you look, but the fat surrounding your organs affects how you live. Visceral fat is biologically active. It doesn't simply sit there storing energy. It behaves like an organ. It releases inflammatory compounds. It interferes with insulin sensitivity. It increases cardiovascular risk. It places additional stress on the liver. It disrupts metabolic health throughout the body. Think about everything we've discussed today. Excess calories create visceral fat. Visceral fat increases inflammation. Inflammation worsens insulin resistance. Insulin resistance promotes additional fat storage. More fat creates more inflammation. The cycle continues year after year. This is why some people appear relatively healthy on the outside while serious metabolic problems develop internally. The scale doesn't tell the whole story. That's why many health experts now pay close attention to waist circumference. The size of your waist often reveals more about metabolic health than the number on the scale. At this point, you might be wondering something important. If all of this is happening, what can I actually do about it? That's exactly the question I asked myself several years ago. Like many people, I believed I understood nutrition. I thought I was making reasonable choices. Then one routine medical appointment changed everything. I still remember sitting in that examination room while my doctor reviewed my lab results. My cholesterol numbers weren't where they should have been. Several metabolic markers were moving in the wrong direction. Suddenly, I found myself having a conversation about medications I never expected to need. That experience forced me to confront a difficult reality. Knowing information and applying information are two very different things. I began digging into the research, not headlines, not marketing claims, actual scientific studies. And what I discovered completely changed how I approached nutrition after 55. Eventually, I developed a simple framework that I still follow today. I call it the 3-point recalibration. Not a diet, not a quick fix, not a miracle solution. A practical way to align your eating habits with the needs of an aging body. The first step is recalibrating your baseline. Most people have no idea how much they're actually eating. They rely on habit, appetite, and routine. But appetite doesn't always adjust as quickly as metabolism. What felt normal 20 years ago may be excessive today. Spend 1 week honestly tracking what you eat. Not to judge yourself. Not to feel guilty. Simply to establish awareness. Many people are shocked when they discover how much extra energy is quietly entering their system each day. The second step is prioritizing protein. Every meal should begin with one question. Where is the protein? Protein helps preserve muscle. Protein supports recovery. Protein helps control appetite. Protein stabilizes blood sugar. As we age, maintaining muscle becomes one of the most important investments we can make in long-term health. Build your meals around protein first. Then add vegetables, healthy fats, and other foods around that foundation. The third step is paying attention to timing. Your metabolism is not equally efficient throughout the day. Many people consume their largest meal late in the evening when the body is preparing for rest. Consider shifting more of your daily calories earlier. Give your body energy when it's most prepared to use it efficiently. Small adjustments repeated consistently often produce results that surprise people. And here's something I want you to remember. Perfection is not required. Consistency is. You don't need to eat perfectly every day. You don't need to eliminate every favorite food. You simply need to stop overwhelming a metabolism that has already changed. Small improvements repeated month after month can dramatically alter your future health trajectory. Before we finish, I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 dangers surprised you the most? Was it fatty liver disease, muscle loss, insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, biological aging, or visceral fat? Leave your answer in the comments below. I read your comments every day, and your experiences help others learn as well. And if you've made it all the way to the end, type the word reclaim in the comments. It tells me you're ready to take control of your health instead of letting age make the decisions for you. Finally, if you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone over 55 who needs to hear this message. Because the sooner we understand what is happening inside our bodies, the sooner we can make changes that may protect our health for years to come. And in our next video, we're going to explore what happens inside the brain when chronic inflammation and excess calories continue unchecked after 55. The good news is that some of those changes may be far more reversible than scientists once believed. You won't want to miss it. Until next time, stay healthy, stay active, and take care of yourself.